Steady, I've got it. Easy now, little one. Almost there. Good job.
Daniel Okoro and Samuel Mungie brought their blue patrol vehicle to a halt on the aged paved road cutting through McKenna Wildlife Reserve. Bright white sunlight bathed the sprawling prairie, where patches of vibrant green bushes were scattered across the cracked, parched earth. They stepped out of the car, each holding a camera and binoculars to observe a distant herd of zebras. The zebras moved in small clusters, grazing calmly on short green grass, enjoying an unusually peaceful moment. Daniel focused intently on taking pictures, while Samuel quietly scanned every movement around them. The soft rustle of leaves in the breeze added to the serene ambience. However, only minutes later, an entirely unexpected sight confronted them. As they turned back toward the patrol car, their steps faltered. Just in front of the vehicle, a tiny lion cub stood silently, staring at them with a frightened expression. Its front paw was trapped inside a corroded old metal can. The cub let out faint cries, almost as if begging for help from strangers. Dust covered its pale yellow fur, yet its eyes still shone with a delicate glimmer of trust. Daniel and Samuel exchanged glances for several seconds, completely taken aback. The once tranquil scene had transformed into one filled with tension and concern. They quickly realized that the cub was injured and needed immediate attention. Yet, a greater threat might still be hidden in the surrounding bushes. Samuel immediately looked around, wary that the lioness could appear at any moment. Daniel maintained a safe distance but leaned slightly to assess the cub's condition. Both carefully scanned the dense greenery and tall grass in the distance. There was no sign of any lions nearby. Daniel cautiously approached the cub, each step deliberate and slow. He gently rested his hand on the cub's head, attempting to calm its fear. The lion made no attempt to struggle, only emitting a soft groan of discomfort. Its eyes reflected almost complete trust in the ranger standing before it. Samuel hurried back to the vehicle to fetch the necessary tools for an emergency rescue. Daniel guided the cub to lie on the cracked asphalt so the injury could be treated more easily. Samuel returned with wire cutters and essential first aid equipment. Daniel continued to stroke the cub's head and neck to keep it relaxed. Samuel carefully positioned the pliers at the edge of the rusted can. Each cut of the metal echoed through the quiet prairie. The cub whined in pain but remained cooperative. Beads of sweat formed on the ranger's foreheads as tension mounted. After roughly 15 minutes of focused effort, the can was finally removed from the cub's leg. The wound appeared red and painful, but thankfully there was no indication of broken bones. Samuel quickly retrieved a clean bandage and wrapped the cub's bleeding paw. Daniel held the leg securely to ensure the dressing was applied safely and accurately. Both worked swiftly yet gently, avoiding any additional pain. Once the temporary bandage was in place, the cub appeared noticeably more comfortable. Daniel and Samuel prepared to place the cub into the patrol car. They wrapped it in a soft blanket for security. Samuel carefully lifted the small animal with both hands and helped place it into the rear compartment of the vehicle. The car promptly drove toward the ranger station. At the station, veterinarians were ready. The cub was placed on an examination table inside a clean, well-equipped medical room. An X-ray was performed to check the injured leg. The results indicated only soft tissue damage. The wound was cleaned with a specialized antiseptic solution, and a fresh bandage was carefully applied. The veterinarian administered an injection to support recovery. Daniel and Samuel stood nearby, visibly relieved. The cub seemed to sense safety in human hands. It was placed in a spacious, airy, clean enclosure. A layer of soft, dry straw lined the floor to allow it to rest comfortably. Each day, Daniel and Samuel changed the bandages and monitored the healing progress. The cub gradually regained strength and activity. The wound dried, and bleeding significantly decreased. Its eyes became more alert and lively. It ate well and let out small, energetic growls. Veterinarians confirmed that the cub was ready to be returned to the wild. Daniel and Samuel prepared for the journey to return the cub to its original location. The patrol car drove into the area where it had first been found. In the distance, a pride of lions rested in the shade of a large tree. The car stopped at a safe distance. Samuel opened the rear door, allowing the cub to step out on its own. The cub cautiously set its paws on the familiar ground and glanced toward the resting lions. A gentle breeze swept across the prairie, carrying the natural scent of the wild. Both rangers observed silently. The moment of reunion drew near. The lioness lifted her head, recognizing the familiar scent of her cub. She rose and moved swiftly toward her offspring. The cub ran to meet her, letting out joyful cries. Mother and cub touched noses in a tender display. The lioness gently licked her cub's head and face. The rest of the pride watched quietly from a distance. The scene radiated warmth amid the wilderness. Daniel and Samuel returned to their patrol car as golden afternoon sunlight bathed the prairie. The vehicle slowly rolled along the old asphalt road. Behind them, the lions had settled once more under the shade. The cub lay close to its mother, safe and healthy. Daniel exhaled with relief after the tense rescue. Samuel smiled, clearly aware of the importance of their work. McKenna Wildlife Reserve had returned to its peaceful state.